Hi, and welcome to Chess for Life in the time of Corona. Today we are delighted to welcome to the show FIDE Master Andy Mack. Now, Andy is a chess player, FIDE Master. He is also an audit director for Grant Thornton, and he's also an author, and he's written books on poker and chess. And the recent book on chess is a novel called The Berlin Defense, and he's going to tell us all about that shortly. Andy has also captained chess teams, and for example, he was captain of a team in the European Club Cup. Andy, a big welcome to the show.
Well, thanks, Natasha. Thanks, hi, Matthew. Thanks both for inviting me here. Great to be here today.
Now, Andy, can you start off by telling us a bit about chess and how you got into playing chess?
Yeah, thanks, Natasha. My granddad taught me when I was 8 years old, 1978, and that was the time of the very famous Karpov-Korchnoi match, the epic match that Karpov edged 6-5 in 32 games. And I was a bit young to appreciate that time, but I do remember seeing Korchnoi on TV and my granddad explaining that Korchnoi was this great freedom fighter who had defected from the terrible USSR at the time. The Soviet Union was a bit of a bogey man, and Korchnoi was this great champion. And that really got me interested. And then 1979, Korchnoi reappeared on my screen again, the Master game. I don't know if you remember that. But
yeah.
It's a fantastic show.
It's a fantastic show. You can still see it now on YouTube, actually. It's a fantastic show where great players would explain their moves as they went. So I was a firm fan of Victor Korchnoi. We'll come back to that later on with the novel. I then got into the Kent chess scene. Ahead of me, a couple of years ahead, was Chris Fulton, Neil MacDonald, amongst other people.
Yeah,
So,
now it was a stronger scene, the Kent Junior scene. Philip Morris as well, Ian Galloway, Ian Tucker.
Alex Tucker, yeah, absolutely.
Alex Tucker, sorry, yeah.
Alex Tucker hasn't seen him
Alex
for
Tucker,
years.
who's in the Philippines. I had an email exchange with him yesterday.
He's in the Philippines now, is he?
He's in Manila. He's doing well.
Wow.
Chris Wall, one of my best friends, lives down the road from me. So, what a fantastic scene that was.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
As those guys got older, I had visions of being perhaps the top 10 junior, but certainly Mr. Sadler younger than me.
Just banner in the works for you.
But I had pleasure of being the number 2 junior in Kent. And Matthew, we won quite a few team events.
Yeah. No, we did well. We were really strong.
And of course, we had a young Elan Rubin in our team as well.
Indeed.
And Alexis Arakis was another.
Yeah. I mean, all these guys. I mean, you see how strong everyone got. You know, some people got to GM, to IM, and all of that, and all with good ratings. Really amazing generation. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great days. There was a guy, David Brown, you remember?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
David Brown, who was a wonderful coach. So I had a lot of fun. Natasha, of course, we played a few times.
We used to play as juniors quite a bit. So I remember this time in county chess, and I was a Bucks junior, and the Bucks junior scene wasn't really quite as strong as the Kent junior scene, and I wasn't the strongest in Bucks, but at one point I did make it to the top board of my age group, and then I turned up and it was Bucks against Kent, and we were quite intimidated. And then I was paired. I must have been graded 99, and I was paired against you, Andy.
Wow.
And you were like about 140 or something at the time. I don't remember how old we were, but you were very, very scary, or maybe even more than that. I don't know. And we played. We must have played. I don't know, something like 12 moves in the game, and then you gave me a draw.
Oh no!
But it was brilliant. It was so. I don't know whether you were being kind. I think maybe it was drawn. But you were so nice after the game. You went through it and said I played well, and it was very encouraging. And then I realised you actually had drawn all your games.
That sounds like me, Natasha. Yeah, but I'm sure you were a very strong player already.
I thank you now, because that encouraged me as a young player.
I'm glad to encourage you, because you've done great things for chess. And I've read Game Changer. What a great book! What a great book. Chess for a great book. So So my chess highlight, I picked a bit early actually. I think 1987, when I was still 16. I had a great Lloyd's Bank. The week before, I beat Michael Adams at the Cheltenham.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I had a great Lloyd's Bank. Held mine against Joe Gallagher and Tibor Karoli, Ravi Kumar, Hans Stephenson. I think it was about a point short of an IM norm.
Yeah.
Got the FM title. That was probably my peak, actually, if I'm honest.
Yeah. So did you have to ever make a conscious decision between chess and your academic studies?
I used to find, funny enough, I think chess really helped, and in your view on this. My mum will tell a story, actually, that before my A-levels, she was really worried about me because all I would do by way of studying was sit in the garden with the chessboard. And she didn't feel that was ideal preparation for my history exam. But actually, I mean, I did, thankfully did well at A-levels. And actually, I think chess helped because of the ability to make decisions, to get something done in a constrained amount of time, to work under pressure. When it came to the exam, I've got 5 questions in 3 hours. That's what I do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Did you guys find the same thing?
Yeah.
For my A-levels, I had, those old informatas which just had game after game, professional games. And before that time when I wasn't studying, I never really did much. But then during my A-level year when I was studying, I just played through every single game, one by one in that informata. And each time I played a game, I would remember it, close the book, play it again from memory. I don't think I could do that now, but I did it through the game. And that was the year when I improved. When I improved most in my chess strength was my A-level year, just because I was playing through all those informatas to avoid studying. But I was fine in my exams. It was that confidence you get from kind of knowing you can do this stuff under pressure, and it was all going to be fine.
Precisely, I think that's exactly right. I think I've played in the big international chess tournament, Grandmasters. This exam paper has no fears for me.
Yeah. No, it's true. Yeah. I think it gives you a lot of confidence when you've had a test like that in something like chess and withstood it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, under pressure. So sort of peaks really about 17. But I had some good. Came second in the Major Open one year. That was a decent result. Played in the British Championships 3 times. But I increasingly began to enjoy the team chess really. And Natasha, as you said, I captained. I think twice actually, captain Barbican.
Yeah.
European Club Championships. That was good fun. We did all right.
We played against all sorts of teams full of Grandmasters, didn't we? Didn't you have to deal with a cheating scandal?
I think I could. Yeah. Now this was David Sands, who's a great. I was entirely innocent.
Of course he was innocent, but yeah. Sorry,
more innocent age, and I think David played a move against the top 2600 Grandmaster, Wróblewski, I think.
Yes.
He's very pleased with himself because he'd played a trap.
Wróblewski or Karloff?
Karloff, yeah, 2600.
One of them. They were both in the team side by side anyway, weren't they?
Very pleased with himself, played his move and got up to sort of tell us all about it, and that didn't
quite exciting.
The Russians.
I remember, oh golly, and he was walking around, and you were like, when it was his turn, and he was walking around, and I was like, sit down, go and sit down, because the Grandmaster opponents against us were making faces, and I would too, it's not.
I learned a lot as a captain because my rule was I'd always have a coffee first and join you guys after the first half hour because nothing could ever go wrong in the first half hour, and I turned up after half an hour to see the Furore.
But then, do you remember what happened next? So then they told the arbiter, and even after they told the arbiter, Sands was wandering around. I was like, "Sit down! You've got to sit down." So he sits down, and then it disturbed him in some way, whatever. But the moment he had to sit at the board, his very next move was a blunder. Which, of course, then for the opponents, they were thinking, well, that just absolutely proves that there's something.
Never take on the Russians.
No, and then they wouldn't shake hands. And poor David, for like days after, he was going, why wouldn't he shake my hand?
I know. That's why I spent the rest of the trip. I was just in the bar with David saying, don't take it personally.
Oh, dear me.
I haven't seen him for a long time. Good guy. So those were happy days. And then I captained the even more legendary Dukes of Kent. I didn't captain, I was deputy captain. That's apologies to Chris Rice. I captained a couple of times when Chris wasn't available, but Chris was like the supremo captain, Chris Rice, best captain I ever played. Amazing captain. And I was his deputy, and we had a great team.
What did he do that was very good?
He varied his style. So for me, if I had a bad game, he'd be supportive, because he might think I needed picking up. If it's Alexis, he'd just make, or John Naylor, he'd make fun of me. For Simon Williams, he'd be there at the bar with him. He knew how to motivate people. He still does. Chris, one of my best mates. Motivation, and we had great team spirit, and we would go out every night. We go out for Team Curry.
Yeah,
we had some real characters. John Naylor. We had Louis Gallego from Portugal.
Oh yeah, he's a nice guy. Yeah,
he's a nice guy. He's a very talented player. And the Icelandic contingent, for Vincent's, and the guys, Ginger GM, Stefansson. We had some great people in that team.
Yeah.
And it's a really great team. And we qualified for the European Championships twice.
God, yeah.
Went to Greece. And that was a lot of fun. Got to rub shoulders again with the Ivanchuks, and a combination of Simon Williams when he beat Gelfand. That was great.
Oh, of course, that fantastic. It was the Dutch, wasn't it? Yeah. Incredible Dutch hack that he did. Yeah. Wow.
And about 2 moves before the time control, he could have taken the draw by repetition. And the position was completely unclear, and he went for it and he won. And Simon said afterwards, well, when else will I get a chance to pick Gelfand?
Yeah. Absolutely the right spirit. Yeah, no, completely. Very difficult to do, but really the right spirit. Yeah.
So just chess you play, Andy, is it? You also play poker.
I also play a little bit of poker, and been to Las Vegas a few times.
Oh wow!
With Chris Ward.
Does Chris
Ward play poker?
Chris does too, and Steve Dishman.
Yes.
Okay.
The reason I took up poker, I actually went to play chess in Las Vegas.
Okay, right.
And had a great time over there, but got a bit corrupted and spent some time.
You got corrupted.
So I played a little bit of poker, small stakes, just for fun.
And then you ended up writing a book about poker.
And I've written a book on a variant of poker called Omaha High-Low, which is quite popular in America, a bit more obscure over here.
Are you an expert in Omaha High-Low?
It's a beginner's book, really, so it's teaching people how to play it. And I'm proficient in it. I wouldn't want to say I'm an expert at poker. I certainly lose as many times as I win. But it's a nice social fun game. I think poker is where a lot of chess players go when they realise that chess has become too difficult.
Yeah. Poker's pretty hard too, right?
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard to win. But I suppose the point with poker is you can sit down. I could sit down with the world champion, and I could certainly win some hands.
Yeah.
I could. You give me an hour or two, I might win. You give me a week, I'm going to lose.
Yeah.
But over an hour or two, anybody can win, and I think that gives hope to us all.
Yeah.
But I realised that I was never going to become world chess champion.
Yeah.
But you have written a chess novel.
So, shall I tell you about that?
Yes, please.
Go for it.
So the Berlin Defence, published last week by my again childhood friend Ilan Rubin, fantastic guy. Ilan lives in Moscow now, but fluent in Russian. Sort of made his life out there, and he's formed the publishing house Elkin Ruby. Another one of our former Kent colleagues. He's got a great suite of works, 30 odd chess books. This is his first novel. What's it about? What inspired me? Well, my passions in life, obviously chess. Also, at school I really loved history. I was especially interested in the Cold War, the might of the Soviet Empire. And I love films, and there's a wonderful film called The Lives of Others, which I'd recommend to anybody.
Okay.
10 years old, East German film, about the Stasi and the corruption of the Stasi. Well, an extraordinary thing where something like 250,000 people in a relatively small country of 7 million, 250,000 people works for the Stasi. And the Stasi were the eyes and ears of them. They knew literally everything. nobody had any secrets in East Germany in the 70s and 80s. It was an extraordinary time. The film tells that beautifully, and I was inspired. I wanted to write. I've always wanted to write fiction, and I was inspired by this great, really interesting period in history. And going back to Korchnoi, the little man, or the great man who fights against the state, fights against the tyranny of the state. So my hero in this book, Lothar Hartmann, aspires to be a great at chess. It starts in 1972, and he's watching Fischer Spassky. Okay. He idolises Fischer, but he can't understand why Fischer is no one will respect Fischer in East Germany, and he begins to understand about politics. He gets good at chess, but he's in danger of getting corrupted by the state, and increasingly the tentacles of the state are trying to pull him in and corrupt him. So the questions are twofold: can he become great at chess? Can he become a grandmaster? Can he conquer all? And equally, can he do that without conflicting himself and without selling out his soul? So it's the little man fighting against the mighty state. So it's elements of the thriller. I've really aimed to appeal to non-chess players and chess players alike, but hey, ultimately, Elon has a great word for it. I think it's Shaka novel.
A chess novel, a chess novelette, something like that. Yeah.
Chess novelette. Yeah, absolutely. So. It's got enough chess in it. It should certainly appeal to chess players. It's got some, and I've based. There's a few real people make cameo appearances. Korchnoi's in there under a pseudonym. And
do we know who the other people are?
Or do we have to guess?
You have to guess.
We'll guess.
You have to guess. But so I had a lot of fun writing it. It was a big.
I mean, it's a funny book. Or a series?
It's a serious book, but it's got some black humour, I think is the best way to describe it. So, and it's quite fast-moving. Quite a lot happens. It spans 25 years. It spans the period from Fischer Spassky through to the fall of the wall. And it's I'm a big David Bowie fan, and he lived in Berlin for a while, in West Berlin. So David Bowie features.
Okay.
And I can't tell you the ending, but I think it's got an ending worth working towards.
Okay. I'm looking forward to that.
Fantastic.
It's last week, so I'm very, very, very excited. And again, big thanks to Elon. He's been terrific to work with, actually.
Yeah, I saw publicity for the book and said, wait a minute, Andy Mack. Amazing. It's just yeah. I had the same feeling when I saw that Elan, former Ken Jr. I played against many times, just starting up his own publishing house. Really funny to see that.
And Matthew, I don't know if Elan shared with you. There's a great photo. Actually,
yes, I saw it.
I think it must have been something like the county under-14s. So we won, we won, and there's Matthew's there and Alexis.
It's a massive picture of all of us, just some very strong players in there. Oh, it was really nice. My mum loved it too. My mum recognised that. She'd seen it before somewhere. She said she's got it somewhere in her clippings as well. So, it's.
I could still name all 12 people, which I'm pretty pleased about. But great days they were.
Very good. Okay, it's the 29th of June, 2020. How has coronavirus been where you are?
So it's been an interesting lockdown for me. So we'll start with career-wise. I'm, as you said at the start, I'm an accountant. I work for Grant Thornton. I'm in a technical role now. I head up audit quality for public sector. And my life now, I have my nice little office set up. And my life resolves around Zoom calls. And I'm quite happy with it, actually. This work suits me quite nicely, actually.
I like working from home.
I'm going to admit that. If anyone from work is watching, I have to admit that. Yeah. I quite like the fact I've saved 3 hours a day, which I, of course, use all for work now, instead of commuting. So, but I enjoy my job. It's a good place I work. It's a good firm. I like what I do. Personally, it's been interesting. I mean, obviously, the book being published, and also some good things that sort of happened personally in terms of relationships and things. So it's been so I'll tell you more after the call. So it's been a good period in my life actually, and my parents are still doing well, and my family's doing well, and a major achievement was helping my parents to use Zoom, which didn't come naturally to them.
Fantastic, yeah.
Yes.
Really important, yeah.
Becoming an expert in that too.
Yeah. So my parents both doing well. So I've actually, what have I missed most? I've missed the theatre, I've missed cinema. For my hair, it's the longest it's ever been.
You always used to have very short hair, didn't you?
That's correct, yeah.
That's true.
I'm just putting number 2 back inside. But I did today book in, I've got the barber's appointment booked in for a week's time, so I'm quite excited by that.
Okay. And then going into lockdown, you're allowed to choose one game to keep you company. What game have you chosen and why?
Yeah. So I thought long and hard about this. Tempted. I mentioned I did once get the better of a young Mick Adams, and I was tempted by that. But trying to leave ego at the door and actually go for a real world-class game. So let's go back to the guy who inspired the book, Victor Korchnoi, and the wonderful series, The Master Game. I watched this live in 1979, and it was such a treat on a Tuesday evening to watch on BBC Two. So I didn't fully understand the game at the age of 9, but I have a better appreciation of it now. Even at the age of 9, I thought, what a great game. Robert Byrne as White, American Grandmaster, world candidate player.
Yeah. 1974, played the candidates, yeah.
Yeah, great player, very strong player. Up against Victor Korchnoi, and Korchnoi, in the Master Game, you had played 3 games in your heat, and Korchnoi managed to lose the first game to Lothar Schmidt. So he's really up against it as black, and he played the French defence. And as we will see, and as Matthew will guide us, it's a great fighting performance from Korchnoi, and a role model in how to play the French defence.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for being on the show, Andy, and we will now look at the game.
Fantastic, thank you.
Okay, let's have a look at this fantastic game. Robert Byrne against Victor Korchnoi at the London Master Game in 1979. So Byrne started with e4. He always did, actually. That was actually I even played Robert Byrne actually when he was quite old. Well, he looked very old. He looked quite old even from a young age, I think.
He looked old even in 1979, didn't he? But
yeah, that's right.
The famous brother Donald, didn't he? Of course, who won a Fisher's Immortal Games.
Exactly. Yeah, that's right. It's I played him in 1988, I think, and I lost to him. Oh, good lord, that's a trauma actually. So I should probably probably go past that one.
Well, championship candidate, as we said.
Yeah. I know he was a very good, solid player, and he had that moment in 1974 where he qualified for the candidates. I think he lost to Spassky, but yeah, it was good. So here,
I guess this game was played actually in a TV studio.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
And I never understood at the time. I mean, the players talked as they were going there. Of course, they had to record that afterwards. But as you're watching it on TV, you thought you were hearing it as they were speaking. And Victor, of course, plays the French. That I personally loved the French defence. I played that so many times in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
I remember as well.
Knight c3. Knight.
Played against you both, I think.
Yeah, no, it's true. Knight c3, and Bishop b4. The winner from Victor.
What else?
Yeah. He was in a fighting mood, of course. Yeah, as you said, he'd lost his first game, so in a 3-game series, then yeah, you really needed to get back there. It's so e5, c5, a3, takes, knight e7, and then yeah, Robert Byrne played this quieter line, knight f3.
Yeah, the old Queen G4 was I was used to think was the critical test as black, but.
Yeah, still the very big line here. But I've always thought this is quite dangerous for black as well. It's quite a decent idea. I seem to remember. I always got the feeling that Victor didn't like his position very much. He was already complaining about it at this stage somehow. But yeah, just with this lovely high sing-song voice that he had.
I think it was in Victor's nature, wasn't it, to complain about something?
Yeah, always. It's but he played the one of the main moves: Queen A5, Bishop D2, Knight C6. Yeah, and then this was an interesting choice from Robert Byrne. He played Bishop D3.
This is quite hard next bit to understand for the layman, isn't it? So now you can explain it. Black goes C4.
Yeah, no, it was.
That.
Well, I mean, normally you play Bishop E2 simply, you know, but he actually wanted to force Black to stimulate Black to play C4. Yeah. And I seem to remember that Victor was sort of saying, well, I don't want to play C4, but if he's going to play Bishop D3, then I will. You know, that sort of thing. You know, it was, and I think, you know, Victor just really wanted.
Otherwise, you've got all these. If Black just castles or something, you've got all these Bishop H7 ideas.
Yeah, exactly. And there's with the opposition of the Bishop on D2, Queen A5, you've got these C4 ideas as well. And Bishop's very aggressively placed on D3, so he did his C4 stuff.
And you lock down those queenside pawns now. The C3 pawn is
exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's I mean, it's long-term weaknesses. It's just that Black's got. If Black wants to make something happen in the position, then he's going to have to start weakening himself a little bit. And Victor didn't mind doing that at all. So yeah, Robert Byrne put his bishop back on F1. That's decent idea actually. I think. Because on E2 the bishop's not doing this much, and he's looking for G3, and then probably Bishop H3, Knight H4, F4 to F5 is the plan. You know, that's always what people want to do. But and Victor's next move was lovely and risky, just F6 straight away.
Yeah, classic French move.
Classic French move.
The king's safety.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean.
Nimzovich in there.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the engines never really liked these moves, but frankly, I always remember. Yeah, we've Natasha and I often play tandem simuls, and the winner was one of the ones we always seem to end up losing against somehow. It's a tough. It's very tough. I mean, you've got to be really precise and all that, and obviously with a tandem simul, we're never precise. One person moves a piece to the right, the other one moves it back to the left. And before you know it, you've wasted a few moves, and Black's pawns have come down at you.
I think we're going to see that in this game actually in a bit, aren't we? With Byrne struggles a bit for planning.
It's true, yeah.
Oh, he might be doing a tandem with his brother.
So takes. That's quite normal to take like that, and then Knight H4, threatening Queen H5.
And round about here, I'm feeling pretty good for white. I'm thinking, well, these two bishops and the queen coming out, and.
Yeah,
because Black's not going to castle straight away because that looks horrendous.
What's he going to do? He's
and if he does, how he thinks.
Yeah, Victor was saying, "Oh, this looks very unpleasant." Right, I'll castle into it then. It's just, it's I mean, very very active. But that pawn on C4, of course, does have the great. Advantage of stopping the bishop coming to D3, so it's not easy for white to get lots and lots of pieces into the attack, and Black is going to come in with E5, so it's. I mean, looking at it now, I'm quite tempted by something like G4 or something, but I don't know. I mean, it's
no, why not? Yeah.
Lots of crazy stuff going on there, but Robert Byrne was a good positional player. He was a solid player. He played G3, just getting his pieces developed, and here Victor he was trying to work out a way to get it to repair his position. He didn't want to just strike out with E5 or anything like that. He wanted to add some solidity, which I thought was quite interesting, really, because you needed to play for a win, and you would have thought it's very easy to sort of say, okay, well, I'm going to open everything up, and but he just had this confidence in his long-term strength, and just came up with this defensive plan. So
I mean, it's just a really nice move, like I've said, I think, isn't it? Yeah, once you see it, you think, okay.
Yeah.
Like that.
And then Bishop D7, and then Knight G6. That's the one.
Nice move.
Another nice move. Just giving white a little question again. Are you going to take off that knight? Are you maybe going to play something like Queen H5? Or
Queen we maybe going E5 then perhaps with tempo? Or?
Probably are Queen G4, probably E5. We can do that. Yeah. And I mean, there's also moves like Knight E7 simply as well. If you want, if you want to keep things really tight. I mean, Queen H5 feels quite tempting to me, I have to say. Just, you know, but I think Robert Byrne, yeah, he took on G6, which I think surprised Victor. You know, I don't know whether it's true. I've got in my head that he had this, you know, this typical voice. Well, you know, just you know, a bit of a surprise there, you know, about that. And yeah, I mean, it does sort of increase the cover of Black's king, really, you know, and makes, you know, breaks for White like F4 to F5 much more difficult to achieve. So yeah,
I don't know if I like it for White.
Well, now this H4 now looks threatening. I mean, you got to find a way to defend this, haven't you?
Yeah. No, I mean H5 and G5 F4. I think, you know, Robert Byrne was sort of thinking about, you know, that was the rationale for taking on G6. You know, you understand that that you're repairing Black's pawn structure, but you are going to follow up with you know, with a quick storm. But yeah, this lovely move, Rook H7 from Victor, just stopping H4 to H5. And yes, the patience with which he just builds up his position, you know, just makes it invulnerable. Basically, is quite nice.
I think it's about here where Byrne struggles to find a plan, perhaps.
Yeah, he starts getting nervous, doesn't he? And everything he starts thinking that Victor's going to start taking a pawn from him somewhere. You know, it's
which is a Korchnoi thing to do, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. At some stage he was looking to sacrifice, and then he said, "Yeah, but if I sacrifice, then Victor's going to take it." You know, and that's not the idea. You know, yeah, no, he was struggling to find a plan. He started making sort of kind of one move threats, really. You know, just and Black's pieces look quite. They don't look amazingly coordinated, but they're keeping White at bay. You know, and that's the thing. This move, yeah, Bishop F4. It's yeah, probably not a bad move, but Knight D8.
Next move again, Knight D8, just a really clever move.
Yeah, that's a lovely move. That knight was not doing so much on C6, so coming round to F7 now to support E5, support G5 as well. You know, and I mean that rook is already, you know, ready to be doubled up and invade on the H file if things go well. So
it's not that obvious what White's plan should be.
No, it's not. It's not. I mean, White lacks pawn breaks. That's the problem, you know. And this H4 to H5 was going to be one of them, but that's been taken away. And yeah, no, it's not easy, and especially against these great players, you know, you can really have the feeling that that you've got to do something, otherwise, you know, they're going to improve their position, and then you know that they're going to go on and try and improve it more, you know, and that fear often you know, plays a role and makes you play worse than you even would.
How old were the players for this game?
Robert would be probably about my age, actually.
Yeah, I think so. Let's have a look. He was around 2010. He was late 70s. So yeah, he'd probably be. He was probably late 40s, I think, at this stage.
Which in those days was very firmly veteran stage.
Yeah, it's true. And Robert Byrne.
As per Chess for Life, you know, people play a bit older these days.
It's true, yeah. No, Robert Byrne was probably around the same age, I think. Maybe a bit older, but it's Knight F7.
Andy, are you tempted by playing on the
I've just given away that I'm 49 turning 50. So. Can I tell you one thing? I hadn't really thought about it till you mentioned, but one thing that would appeal about it, I haven't really played seriously for about 10 years, and I think what did for me actually was losing a couple of games in succession to 13-year-olds. I just realised I've had it.
Remember their names?
No, I can't, but they're probably very strong now indeed.
Yeah.
They were probably already very strong, but it does appeal to the prospect of perhaps playing in, let's just say, a slightly more sedate fashion, where one can, you know, play a bit more calmly and not be worried about being blitzed or being out-theoried, or, you know, just play a game. So yeah, perhaps Natasha, it does appeal. Yeah, I'll have to speak to Chris Rice and see if he's.
See if he's up for it.
Get the juice again.
There's several English teams that go and play now, isn't there? I think it's.
Yeah, I think Chris has played. I think Chris has done the seniors, hasn't he? I think.
He has. Yeah, there's normally 2 or 3 English teams.
Yeah.
Aren't there?
Yeah.
Essentially, I think if you put the money up, you can go, can't you? So,
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You know, my good friend Chris Ward, very proud to have played for England a year or 2 ago.
Yeah. Nice. I mean, the English senior team actually has been really strong. I mean, at its peak, it had well, just the top team had Nigel, John Spielman, John Nunn, Keith Arkle, Mark Hebden. All some amazing, really amazing. And then
of course, Mickey's eligible from probably next year.
Indeed, yeah. Mickey's a bit strong, really.
I don't suppose he'll play. I don't know. Maybe he will. Maybe it appeals to him. Because I suppose he could be world champion easy, right?
Well, that's another thing for him to go through.
He could be world champion next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think words need to be had. The suggestion needs to be made.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. He's still British number one,
He's still very, very, very strong.
Yeah, he's an amazing player, Mickey. Let's have a look. Whilst we were talking, probably this was actually Robert Byrne was still thinking, desperately trying to think, where am I going to put my pieces? And
I think Byrne was getting depressed here, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was getting very...
Rookie 2 and he's about to go Rookie 3.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, it's really surprised me just how depressed he got. But actually, I can, looking at the position again now, I can imagine that it wasn't easy to find. Rook H8, Victor
Don't like his bishop much.
Queen E2.
F4, which looked good before.
Well, it's still decent. I mean, it's not going to get trapped, but yeah, I mean, it's not very easy. Still, it's not very easy to think, how is Victor going to make something of this? But this move is quite nice. Bishop C6. So if you take on E6, then C3 is going to be hanging.
Yeah.
So
inside pawns, they get really weak, don't they?
That's right. And Queen D2, and this was the thing. Robert Byrne kept on thinking about, moving the rook from A1, but he was just afraid that Victor would just grab the pawn on A3, and just say, well, an extra pawn, it's just. So it's Rook E7. It's just sort of inexorable, really. Rook E8, and now Black really is going to start threatening E5 at some stage. This is really coming in, and poor Robert hasn't really found a plan, but he came up with something though, because now when this rook went away from H8, he looked to play G4 to G5, which is actually a very sensible idea. So actually the game's got quite crucial. I mean, again, Victor didn't really need to allow that, but he was just going for he was going for victory. He'd spent enough time defending. He was going for the big break here. Here we go, E5.
Break.
So yeah, Robert played Bishop G3. I think that's probably fair enough. Always tempted in those positions to take on E5 and just claim, with my two bishops I must be able to do something, but I'm not very convinced about that. E4. This was an unusual move, I have to say. You think maybe make some more of that tension, but he just grabs the space. I mean, that's the important thing. And
this pawn's got a big role to play later on, Matthew, hasn't it?
It's got a huge role. Yeah, I think he's just he's also looking for stuff like just Bishop D7, Knight H6. He's going to target this weakness on G4. Suddenly White sort of wishes probably that he hadn't made that. But G5. Sensible in principle, just going to open up those dark squares. Bishop on G3, all of that. Takes, and Bishop D7. And I
really like this rerouting again. The bishop's suddenly
going
to G4.
Yeah, and with the pawn on E4 and the centre blocked like that. I mean, Victor's got great potential now to put his rooks on the H file, for example, and actually, although this white bishop, feels good, it's sort of kind of dominated by this knight on F7, and the bishop on G2 is just terrible. Actually, looking at this wall here, and actually getting in the way of the king. I mean, you might want to move the king out and move a rook to the H file, but it's just going to be rather tricky. So it's
the queen can't really move either. The white queen, because
no, it's pretty passive. That queen has been on A5 for ages, but actually it's turned out to be incredibly effective there. It's Bishop F4 was played, just probably to give the rook a little bit of a square on E3, and Queen A6.
Oh, another really nice regrouping move.
Yeah, no, the queen's a very nice way of bringing the queen just back into the centre and the king side. Queen coming round to F5. Actually, just Victor's just targeting a pawn. He just wants the G5 pawn. It's and this bishop on G4, helping to stop F2 to F3. So Very, very nice. Queen e6, just keeping it there, not letting it get chased away.
It's sort of playing on both sides of the board, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he's just he was sort of been squeezing on the H file, on the on the C3 pawn. The queens come back together, just very, very flexible. It's true. It's so I think Robert Byrne was in a bit of time trouble here now. Queen f5. Still easy to see how it's going to break. This move feels like panic, but I think he was worried about a rook coming into the H file. So rook h8 to h5, and then knight takes g5. I think that was the big that was one of the big worries. So he decided to run with the king.
Yeah, which is imaginative, maybe.
Yeah, no, it's not about. I mean, if you get to d2, then you're probably happy, and a rook can come to the H file. I mean, this rook is free now because the queen's no longer attacking the A pawn, so would be interesting. But well, you're going to be rather caught in the middle, and this one's very nice. Just looking to exchange off the light squared bishops, and well, leave white with this. Thing is, once the pieces start getting exchanged, this bishop loses its attacking value, and it's just a big pawn defending this pawn on g5. So it's.
I guess white can't go bishop takes bishop and queen takes rook because of, for example, rook h1.
I think we'll go.
Queen f4, is it?
Yeah, rook h1 and queen f4. That's the one. It was takes, queen e7. We go rook h1 check, king there, and queen f4 check, and then queen e3 is forced, and we take, and then take the rook on a1. So. Very, very, very nice. Simple tactics, but very effective. So he went king d2 and rook h4. That's a lovely move. Oh, a very evil move, that one. Just attacking the bishop on f4. The bishop has to move. Not many squares at all. And bishop takes g2, rook g2, and rook h3. So the bishop's been chased away from the defense of the pawn on g5. You're threatening rook h3. So it's getting harder and harder for black to defend his pawns. He goes rook g3, takes, and knight g5.
He's won his pawn finally.
He's won his pawn, and temporarily you're giving white the e5 square, but when the knight comes to f3, that bishop again will get attacked and chased away. So Robert Byrne played king c1, knight f3, bishop a7, decided to grab a pawn just for. Just to keep the material balance, but actually it doesn't make any particular difference. I mean, it's not making it easier to create a passed pawn or anything on the queen side. So that's actually not a very useful pawn. But still, it's not very, very clear how black is going to push this through. But Victor finds a great way here. He takes. The bishop comes round to b8, and then Victor uncorked rook f7. Attacking the pawn on f2, rook b1, attacking the pawn on b7 counter, and then this move e3.
Wow!
And that's a really unpleasant move to face in time trouble, I have to say. It's so the idea was, I think I remember this right, it was just to go rook f1 check, and then after king b2, we're just going to take, and we'll play knight e4. And I mean, this pawn is just running g5 to g4, so you're just going to bring,
It's incredible, isn't it? White is so blockaded on the queen side, nothing can move.
Exactly. You're just going to bring the king into here and move your pawn up, and White's just got nothing. With all those double pawns, there's no hope at all for a pawn. He is actually just dead, yeah. I mean, he's completely dead. It's a really lovely idea there because, you still thought, there could still be fighting chances, but this move really kills it. And Robert Byrne, played f4. He didn't take on there, but, this is very, very serious now. Knight e4, king b2, g5, another lovely move, fg, e2, rook there, and rook f2, and the point is that the white king's in a cage here because it can't come round c1 to d2, and the black king is just going to come round and grab it, or even knight d2 to f3, or knight takes g5 F3 is also going to be coming in. So so here Robert Byrne resigned, and you sort of felt that the way that he was and the way that he looked after the game, you felt he'd lost 5 games rather than just one. You know, he just felt like he'd been completely steamrolled. You know, by I think by Victor's determination. You know, that it really looked like he'd had a really rough time there. You know, and
Double rounds with Mike Tyson.
Exactly. It certainly struck me as well. You know, just when I watched it, wow. You know, God. You know, this guy looks so tough. This Victor. You know, so it's a fantastic game. Thanks for picking that one. I hadn't looked at it for ages, and oh, lovely.
Great pleasure to look at it again.
Yeah, no, really great game, and I mean, Victor was so strong in those years. Definitely, you know, not weaker than Karpov, really. Just you know, it was
one of the greats. Maybe the greatest never to become world champion.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I think you can't think of anyone else who was so strong. No, it's okay. Well, thanks very much indeed, Andy. Really enjoyed watching that, and really enjoyed chatting and catching up. You know, it's been such a long time since we talked. You know, and
yeah, it has. But really good to see you both, guys. Thanks.
Lovely to see you. Thank you very much, and good luck with the book, of course.
Yeah.
Okay. All the best then.
Thanks very much.
Bye.